Welcome to Lindamood-Bell Radio. I'm Dave Hungerford for Lindamood-Bell. Lindamood-Bell has pioneered programs to develop the sensory cognitive processes that underlie reading and comprehension. Our experience, quality of instruction, and commitment to ongoing research are the keys to our success. We are committed to making a difference in the lives of the children and adults we are fortunate enough to serve. For more information, visit us at lindamood-bell.com. Welcome to our 7th season of Lindamood-Bell Radio. Here's an episode from a few years ago where my colleague Owen and I talked with Ben in Connecticut at our Learning Center. Here it is.
So, my name is Benjamin. I'm from Wilton, Connecticut, and I have ADHD, which is a learning disability. And I heard about Lindamood-Bell, or my parents heard about Lindamood-Bell from it was their website. She was looking at ways that I could help improve my reading and writing and just all-around memorization. From a very young age, I was not very good at reading, and I struggled a lot.
How old are you now?
I'm 18.
18. And are you in high school?
Yeah, I go to high school, and I'm a senior.
So you've been struggled?
Yeah, I've struggled all my life. And it's, I came here, and I mean, within the first week, it was great. I saw such great improvements, not just here, but taking what I learned here and bringing it to the classroom. Things when I would read articles in Latin American studies before I was here, I would struggle, and I'd have a hard time remembering the information that was in there. But I noticed even just through a week, when I was given an article called Guns, Germs, and Steel, which was a very long article, I actually did very well on it, and I did picturing, I did, all the things that I was taught here, and I handed it in the homework, and I actually got 100, which is something that rarely ever happens.
Nice. I think I recall reading that. It is a long. And so, what are your interests in school?
So, I'm really interested in culinary arts. I'm hoping next year to go to Johnson & Wales or CIA. It's been a passion of mine since I was in 5th grade. I just love cooking, and since I've struggled in school, cooking was something I was good at. So it was a way to get away from, the frustrations of normal education.
You're doing something with your hands?
Yeah.
So are you a Guy Fieri or Anthony Bourdain?
Guy Fieri.
Yeah. So this is not your first rodeo?
Yeah.
Cool. He's a Northern Californian, right? Out of Napa or somewhere up there. So does your school have some hands-on classes like that?
Yeah. So we have Culinary 1 and Culinary 2, and I'm actually in Culinary 2, and I don't just cook. I help teach it. I'm like a co-teacher in it, which is really awesome, and I love it.
Are the things you have to read and remember and?
Even in those classes, I mean, a lot of the times with remembering recipes, I mean, being able to spell, I mean, that's a big thing. When you have a meal and you have to write a recipe out, you have to be able to spell what you're writing, and being able to break each thing apart, the syllables, and just being able to picture the word, so when I write it down, it doesn't come out and the person's like, oh, what is this, and look at it and think it's something that they've never heard of before, when I'm really.
Well, as you were going through, was there a specific time, in middle school or in high school, where there was just a really, so this is it, I need to get some help, this is time?
So I when I throughout my life, I've done my parents have put me in things that to help me. So originally, I went to Eagle Hill, Southport, which is a learning disability school. I went there for 2 years, and it definitely helped. It was a great school. I met a lot of great teachers, and I learned a lot. But definitely um, didn't learn as much as I should have. The next year, I went to a private school. I wasn't a very big fan of it, but they did also teach me some stuff about it. But when I came to Lindamood-Bell, it was very, very like a friendly environment right when I got here. I felt so welcomed, and I sat down one on one with a clinician, and we just got right to it. Like we've been working together for weeks, and it was just so great. And we first started out easy, and then it slowly progressed, and I was like, oh wow, it's actually kind of fun. But eventually I got frustrated because it got harder, and when things get harder, people just get frustrated. But
Have you been able to work through some of the frustration?
oh yeah, definitely. I mean, the challenges that I've had, I've mastered. But the thing about Lindamood-Bell is, they always want you to get better. So they're always pushing you to your highest potential. And once you're frustrated and like, oh wow, I finally got this, so they're like, like let's keep going. Like now let's make it harder. Like really, really step up. And it's frustrating at times. It gets annoying, but it's so worth it. And at the end of every single time, when they start me something new, I'm happy that they pushed me and pushed me. I It's great.
Why do you think that Lindamood-Bell works? What about it's different than why wouldn't
So
school?
it's really I really like how all the clinicians here are really easy to talk to, and they're all just out of college, a lot of them, and like just like young kids who they know what they're passionate about what they're doing, and they know what they're doing, and it's really just like great to see. And even it's definitely the way they approach it and the people. I mean, the whole VV and SI. I recently started VV, which is visualizing, and no other place does it, and it's fine. I always thought that I would never really find a way that I would be able to learn, to become a better reader. And, it's definitely, it's the way that they're using here is definitely the way that's teaching me.
Yeah, it's a pretty amazing program. It helps you remember
It's
stuff.
amazing.
Like people that really concentrate on it can just.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. If I would recommend it to anyone, and I fully support the program. I think that if anyone asked me, what do you think about it? I'd say it's 10 out of 10. If they said out of 10, I'd say 15 out of 10. It's really great, and I've learned so much.
So are you on track to graduate this year?
So yeah, I'm gonna graduate this year, and as I said before, I'm hoping to go to culinary school. But also, I'm also after coming here, I'm very interested in actually, maybe coming back and working here later in my life, because since I have a learning disability, and I had to struggle through it. I think that I want to help kids, because a lot of the times what I feel is that teachers who are doing these programs, they didn't really struggle. They don't know what it's like. And when a student like me says, this is what I don't get, this is what I'm seeing, they say, oh, I understand, but they really don't, because they didn't struggle. I think I can relate to a student later and be like, oh, that was what happened to me. This is how I remember. This is how I got better at it.
Okay.
Can you talk a little bit about kind of like you said, growing up, having a hard time reading, having a hard time comprehending maybe sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
just kind of what that's like growing up in school and having that struggle on a day-to-day basis and a year-to-year basis till you're in high school.
Mhm. So it it really is awful, every day, when I used to go to school, they would pull me out of classes, and it was almost as if everyone was staring at me. You could just like feel their eyes all just looking at you as that special ed teacher is taking you out, and um, it was just so hard, and I was never with any of my friends, and they would not my friends, but people would judge me, and they would say, "Oh, you're a bad reader," oh, and things like that, and even like when I was in class and I would have to read, I was always hoping, like, I would always look at the clock and be like, just like ring in just enough time where they have to cut off before I have to read. And it's the worst feeling that you could have, not thinking that you're intelligent and just thinking that you're stupid. And that's how I used to feel. In school, I would go in school and I would think, oh, it's just another day just like another wasted day. I'm in here. I'm the person that everyone laughs at, when they get up and have to read, and reading every word so slowly, and the teacher stopping and saying, "Oh, yeah, let's go to someone else." And the reason why they did was because they couldn't read it.
And so were there usually around third and fourth grade, you don't read as much out loud in class.
Mm-hmm.
What happened then into those older grades? You're probably in some ways pleased about that, right? You never read out loud.
Yeah. Third and fourth grade, it was mostly, getting pulled out of class and, my friends asking, "Oh, where are you going?" and having to kind of lie to them, and just, them on the weekends, hanging out and being like, "Oh, why don't you come into this class? Oh, it's fun. We do all this cool stuff." And, I remember crying and telling my mom, like, "Oh, just put me back in there. Like, put me back with all those kids." They wouldn't do it, but now I understand why they didn't do it. But it was just all around a struggle for me.
That stopped at high school? Or did you have special ed services in high school too?
Yeah, I still do. I did.
And are you at public school now? Or?
Yeah, high school.
And so, is it like where you just have a certain couple hours or an hour a day, or you're not in a special ed class all day?
No. So in high school I'm actually in all normal classes, or all not normal, typical classes. But I have something called AC Lab, so it's more resources. Which is AC Lab's a class where you go in, you sit down, there's a teacher in there, and there's probably about 5 to 10 students, and you do your homework or study and things like that. But and right now, since I'm here, I only have 3 classes, but I'm here for 4 hours of the day, which in the morning from 8 to 12.
Is that a lot? Does that seem like an overwhelming amount of time?
Depending, it actually, it really doesn't. Sometimes it does. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes, it feels like, when I'm doing VV and, I'm reading something and they keep asking me, "What are you picturing? What are you picturing?" It's just like, oh, when is this going to end? But I know that they're asking me because they want me to get better. And I know that they're asking because, they know that it might be challenging to me, but it's going to better me in the long run.
Sounds like your high school's okay with you being here, which is kind of cool too for graduation and stuff. Was that a hard thing to have to work out with them?
It originally, it was in the beginning. A lot of the schools, they try to say, "Oh, we have the support, we have the things that your son or daughter needs," and
your parents probably had some meetings with them.
Oh yeah, I mean, you have PPTs and things like that. The schools always want to, fight it and keep the kid there.
What'd your parents do?
Well, originally they asked the school to pay for Lindamood-Bell because they didn't have the proper services that really helped me. they wrote down on their reports that, I mastered and things, so they didn't really have to pay for it. And my parents, I thank them every day for doing it, because, last year I was in a class, a reading class that is to teach you what Lindamood-Bell is teaching me now, and it was awful. I really got nothing out of it. It was, I, the program that the things that they used and the skills that they tried to teach me just weren't really for me. And just when I came, like being here, like seeing the reading class, or not reading class, but here and the reading class, it's great, because also it's one-on-one, which is like the big thing. And how my reading class that we would, we'd be given a book, and we would have to then, read, and then she would give us a lesson plan. We would do this lesson plan, and I remember doing it, and I just looked down and I was like, what am I doing? I would leave the class and I'd be like, did I really learn anything from this, or is this just a piece of paper that I'm going to stuff in the front of my binder and not remember? When here, it's embedding it in your brain, and you're using parts of your brain that, you never really would use before.
All about that imagery.
Oh, yeah.
See picture.
Yeah.
Movement, mood, color, all shape, all those good things, right?
Sound, everything.
There's lots of people that come to Lindamood-Bell, like Dave said, there's up to 100 centers and locations in the summertime. If there are people who are maybe your age who are who've been struggling like you did, what's kind of the message there from, that you have because there's got to be some hesitancy to come to a place like this. And
that was actually a big thing that I definitely wanted to say was, when it was first brought up, I didn't want to leave my school, and, I thought it was too late, and, that, Lindamood-Bell wouldn't work for me because, I'm 18. I was like, oh, a lot of the kids who come here are, there are a fair amount of older kids, but most of the kids who come here are a lot younger than me. And, I was really thinking about it. I was like, I think it's too late. I don't think it would really work for me. I've tried all these things. I might as well give up on it. And, my mom, she didn't. And it was great. And honestly, for kids who are my age, I think they should definitely come. I think even parents, anyone can learn, no matter how old you are, going from, third grade to even being an adult. It's not about how old you are, it's how committed you are to the program. And if you really are committed and you really are take what they give you, no matter what your age is, you'll see growth and improvement.
You're not feeling like it's ever too late.
Never too late.
How long have you been doing vegan for?
I think like 2 weeks. I know some crazy stories. I can picture some crazy animals that most people wouldn't be able to, like a red panda. It's got the white underbelly with the black tops, 2 red ears, everything.
I actually have one more question while we're so you talk about imagery, right? Like picturing, everybody asking you what you picture, etc. Can you talk a little bit about, both imagery for letters and then imagery for concepts kind of pre-coming here, and did language sometimes go in one ear and out the other when you're etc.?
The biggest thing when I came here, and the biggest struggle, as you're saying, was air writing, and being able to, air write and be able to see the whole word. And, I could never do that before. I would...
Show me an example for someone who doesn't know what that means. Air writing.
So air writing is... So there's either air writing. So if you were doing, let's say...
like redemption.
So I'd do REDEMTION. Now I'd look at it and I would see redemption. A lot of the times they have 3 things. They have air writing, or what I like is more wall writing and or table writing. So table writing, you would go like, and you'd write it on the table. And the point of it is to be able to, every single time you write a letter, to be able to see it form into a word, or form and make a word. And then at the end, they'd ask, what does that spell? And I'd say what it is, redemption. And being able just to, I use it all the time with my reading, and even like I'll read a paragraph. I mean, before I would have trouble with three syllable words, but now, I'll be reading a book and I'll read the whole thing and I'll remember, I'll picture the whole paragraph in my head, and I'll be able to like take notes on it and things. And it's,
How does that imagery help? What do you think it is that helps? Why does that work?
so the thing about it is, it helps by just in general of being able to, if you can't picture it, you're not going to remember it. So it helps in that way of, if you can't see it, you're not really going to remember it.
So these programs help.
Oh
embed
yeah.
image. Is that what the deal is?
Embedding imaging, picturing, being able to, make pictures, and then at the end of the story, go back and say, what were you picturing? Story summaries and main idea, and if you can't picture, then you're gonna go back and they're gonna ask, oh, so what's the story about? You're just not gonna know.
Good job. Thank you very much.
Einstein said, if I can't picture it, I can't understand it.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
What's your type of cuisine?
I like doing tacos, so small powers, which is a Spanish cuisine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very nice.
Thank you.
Great job. Awesome. Great job. And thank you for listening. You can reach us at our website, lindamood-bell.com, or call us at 800-233-1819. You can also follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and X. We are Lindamood-Bell.